What up, everybody? One of the clips from the official Force Season 3 teaser video has D-Mac and Marshall sitting in a car looking at each other with masks over their heads, getting their guns ready like they're preparing for a shootout. And keep in mind, this isn't going to be the same shootout from when D-Mac was kissing his gun in the first teaser and the clip from the new teaser from the same scene when it shows Marshall and two other kids with D-Mac also. That clip is D-Mac and his crew getting ready for another shootout when D-Mac and his crew are about to run up in a church with Tommy. So we know of at least two shootouts that D-Mac and Marshall are going to get into in Season 3 just from these couple short teaser videos alone. The one I'm talking about in today's video and the one they get into with Tommy at the church. So things are about to get real for D-Mac and Marshall in Season 3. And they're right around the age, I'm not sure how much time has passed since Season 1 when D-Mac was 16. They're probably around 17 years old right now. But that's around the same age that Diamond said shit got real for him and Jannard in Season 2 when Diamond was trying to find a way to eventually take out Mad Dog, saying he had to go. And Jannard told him that he was just a kid and that he was only 16 years old. So with these two, D-Mac and Marshall, it's going to be the same type of thing as things are about to get real for them. Either though they already started to get real since Season 1 when D-Mac got shot. Then in Season 2, D-Mac caught a couple bodies also. But it looks like it's going to get crazy for them in Season 3 as they step all the way into the game. And specifically for D-Mac, Tommy's going to be taking the training wheels off, so to speak, and letting him go all the way in. So similar to how Tariq had the famous line, "Teach me the motherfucking game, Ghost," back in OG Power. And Ghost replied to Tariq that he'd rather kill him than let him in this life. We'll see if we're going to actually see D-Mac get taught the game by his Uncle Tommy in Season 3 of Force. Or is he just going to continue to go out doing a bunch of crazy stuff on his own? Because we know at least one of the shootouts that he's going to be getting into with Tommy. And then another part of the trailer has Tommy asking D-Mac if he was ready for this. And D-Mac's telling Tommy, fuck yeah. So that could be when we see Tommy finally taking D-Mac under his wing and teaching him the game. Definitely something he's been reluctant to do, but at the same time, Tommy might have the same realization that Tasha had about Tariq when she decided to teach him the game, and figure out that D-Mac is going to be in the streets one way or another, and the best way to protect him would to be to actually teach him the game and give him a street education. Because if anything, Tommy got to at least see himself in D-Mac and know how nobody will be able to convince him to get out the game. But one of D-Mac and Marshall's kills coming in Season 3 looks to be Bobby DeFranco. Either though we also have to keep in mind, sometimes these trailer videos make things look one way when they actually end up being a pump fake. So we also have to keep that in mind with a lot of these clips from the trailer videos as well. But it definitely looks like this is D-Mac and Marshall on top of something in what looks to be Bobby DeFranco passing by driving. And D-Mac and Marshall rise up and light Bobby DeFranco's car up with bullets. I initially thought this was Vic Flynn who they were shooting at. But after looking at it closely, I'm pretty sure it's actually Bobby DeFranco. Because we can see this person's reflection in the mirror. And it looks more like Bobby DeFranco than Vic Flynn. And if you look close, notice this person also has on a hat, which is probably Bobby DeFranco's police hat, as well as the emblem on the right sleeve of the driver's jacket, which looks like it has something to do with his police uniform. And in addition to the clip that shows two people rising up and shooting at the car, the clip that shows Bobby DeFranco driving and the people shooting at his car, we can also see a third person rising up and shooting also. And you can kind of see the third person in the closer pic as well. So that lets us know that Tommy is most likely with D-Mac and Marshall when they're shooting up Bobby DeFranco's cop car. And if you haven't checked out the video I made yesterday talking about Tommy and Miguel shooting up a church, make sure to go on my page and check that video out. I'll also leave a link in the description to make it easier if you haven't watched that video yet. But that explains why exactly Tommy is beefing with Detective Bobby DeFranco in the first place. In short, Stacy Marks ends up getting killed, and whether Tommy has something to do with it or not, I'm not sure. But whether he did or not, Bobby DeFranco will blame Tommy for his wife's death. And knowing Tommy's hard to take down by the book, he's going to take it to the street to try to get revenge on Tommy. But when he tries to take out Tommy, he'll end up taking out Mireya, similar to how Tommy took out Angela when she saved Ghost in Power. And because of that, Miguel and Tommy will unite to go against Bobby DeFranco. And because this is most likely after the church scene and they're still going at him, lets us know that Miguel probably gets clipped during the shootout in the church. And that Tommy, D-Mac, and Marshall are trying to take out Bobby DeFranco because they still have unfinished business with him before they leave Chicago, because things probably get too hot for them there. But in this clip, it definitely looks like they end up taking out Bobby DeFranco when they end up ambushing him, spraying up his car while he's driving. Either though, like I said, sometimes these teasers are full of pump fakes. But with that said, sometimes they're super easy to figure out at the same time. Kind of like in Season 3 of Book 2, the crime board had Lorenzo Tejada's picture on it saying he was deceased in one of the teaser videos, spoiling Lorenzo's death before the season even started. And it was also the same type of thing with Cooper Sack's death, where it pretty much showed the scene where Theo snatched him up right before he killed him in the trailer too. So this one definitely looks like Tommy, D-Mac, and Marshall are finishing the job on Bobby DeFranco in this clip. Also keep in mind there's another clip where there's a car that gets set on fire and explodes. And we know that's something out of Tommy Egan's playbook, because that's what he did in Season 1, Episode 2 of Force, with the couple that worked for Rojas, who forced Diamond and him to move H for them. I think maybe after they end up lighting up his car with bullets, they probably also ended up lighting it on fire as well. And so because that is most likely Tommy, who's with D-Mac and Marshall at two shootouts that he gets into, is pretty much letting us know that he is going to be teaching them the game in Season 3. But at the same time, with that said, I hope he doesn't end up getting one of these young boys clipped in the process. Because if Tommy's angry, looking for revenge, he might not be in his right mind to really be looking out for these young boys' best interest either. But with Tommy teaching D-Mac and Marshall the game, I'm definitely hoping they both make it to the Power Legacy show so we can see the development of each of these characters continue as they get older. And there you have it. Leave your thoughts, theories, and predictions in the comments.